Hi everyone, Nick with AeroSurfer Auto Parts, and today I'm going to show you how to install the AS1 fan bypass harness for the 456 and 550 Maranello cars. Right now, the package you'll get includes 3 harnesses, a battery harness that goes from the battery down to the new relays, and a fan harness for each left and right side fan. You'll get 2 relays that'll go in the engine bay, and both relay brackets, whether you have a 456 or 550 car. The difference is just where they mount on the car. The 550 bracket has the 90-degree bend in it. This one mounts on the frame under the right side airbox, which you will have to remove. For 456 owners, this one mounts behind the right headlight and just above the washer reservoir on the outer bumper frame, just like this. When they're assembled, the 550 bracket will look like this. 456 bracket, as best you do, will look like this. It'll sit on the frame like that. The plugs will come right up to this way. The difference in harnesses right now, you've got a left fan harness and a right fan harness. One of the things you'll notice is we're sending these out for both cars. One of these harnesses is folded over on itself to a shorter length. This is set for the 550 right-hand side fan. If you're a 456 owner like I am, simply trim off the zip ties here and open the harness out to its full length, and this will go to the 456 left fan. You'll route it along the underside of the car and up between the radiator or the brake cooling duct and the washer reservoir into where the brackets mount. The other harness is, depending on the car you have, this will be for the 456 right-hand side or the 550 left-hand side, the one that doesn't need to be expanded open. You've got a relay plug that's going to plug into the sockets, and the other end on both harnesses, you've got the MetroPack connectors, which are exactly the same as what you'll disconnect the fan from the stock wiring from. You'll plug this end into the fan and this end into the stock wiring, and this is the bypass that comes. What we're doing here is we're redirecting the heavy draw that the radiator fans cause through the stock fuse box. It creates somewhat of a bottleneck and has been known to create burned and warped connectors on the fuse board. I'll show you an older fuse board and how they look after 20 plus years of heat and amperage fatigue. What this harness does is you take that high draw off the fuse, around the fuse board, you direct it right from the battery through a new fuse line into these new relays and out to the fans. And then the stock wiring going through the fuse box only has to signal these relays, and it's a much lower draw, and it keeps all the high voltage and high amperage every time those fans cycle on and off away from the rest of the car and the rest of the components. Now I'll go show you how to put these on. Okay, so here is my 1995 456 up on the lift. As we come underneath here, we see front of the motor looking forward. 550 owners, you will have to remove the under tray. For 456 owners, the under tray can stay if it's off for an oil change service or radiator service. It does make it a little easier to route the wires, but it's not necessary. I was able to completely install my harness without without removing anything. You've got your fans up there. That's the right-hand side fan, and tucked behind there is the left-hand side fan. The connectors themselves on the 456s are pretty much right at 6 o'clock relative. They're right looking down. That's the right-hand side, and the left-hand side is a little tougher to see with the hoses in the way here. But what we have is the original fan wiring. I had to clip one original factory zip tie, which was previously plugged in right here. And so now they're facing the same direction, and you simply plug the new harness right into the original connections. You can see the sheathing on this one is in gray. I'm sending them all black now. And then we just route them between the tray and the undercarriage. And as you look in that way, you can see they just go up in front of the washer reservoir. There are 2 grounding wires that come off the harness that completes the circuit. They're in black. And there's a couple of, on this cross member here, there's a couple of 10 millimeter nuts that create a good post and a good place to ground them. So as you can see right here, and looking up right there, and there's similar spots on the 550 as well. Once these are pushed through, you can lower the car back down, and you can grab them and route them over to where the relays are going to be mounted. This can be done, obviously on a lift makes it incredibly easy on jack stands or ramps, as long as you can get the front up. There really is plenty of room here. There's no weird angles. There's very little to cut yourself on. It may take a couple times up and down as you pull it through to decide the routing you want the cable ties to be routed out of the way. But it really is a very straightforward install. Now let me show you how we do the battery and where we put the relay brackets.